Hey, how are y'all doing today? I'm Bernie Bro, and I'm here to provide another exciting YouTube commentary. I think Joe Biden is the wrong man for this job. He's the incorrect nominee, and I saw parts of the debate tonight and everything, and suffice to say, oh, Democrats, what are you thinking? Do I need to reiterate what's wrong with Joe Biden? On healthcare, he's offering more of the same. Bernie Sanders is offering a bold, single payer Medicare for all to make us on par with many of our Western allies when it comes to healthcare. Joe Biden, what is he offering? More of the same, to rescue Obamacare. Do I need to tell you the origin or the genesis of Obamacare? It There was another name for it. It was called Romney Care, and it was actually drafted as an idea by the Heritage Foundation, a neoconservative Republican think tank, and they did it to provide a free market solution to healthcare. Free market's what's wrong with healthcare in this country, folks. And I think it was a two-pronged strategy by the Heritage Foundation when they came up with this idea. One, to stop single payer at all costs with a shitty corporate healthcare plan. They figured that either the status quo would remain or that the Democrats, being the spineless sack of shits that they are, will adopt the weakest healthcare plan as possible. So to keep what's negative about the status quo about healthcare, they were correct. They were correct. Um, so this healthcare plan that's being provided by Joe Biden is more of the same. Bernie Sanders is offering a solution to this healthcare plan, and that's single payer Medicare for all. Uh, that's good reason enough to choose. Folks, if you don't know who Jesse Helms was, Jesse Helms, I said it earlier. Jesse Helms was a hardcore right wing U.S. Senator from North Carolina, my home state. The man started his political career as a bigot in the 1950s when the Democratic Party was had its segregationist wing. He helped toppled he toppled a fairly progressive senator by the name of Franklin Porter Graham, and he worked for his primary opponent in the Democratic primary, who was pro-segregation. That's and he was a commentator for WRL Channel 5 in Raleigh. And he did his law and order, anti-communism, anti-hippie protesters, that sort of thing. Uh, John Birch Society attitude on steroids. Jesse Helms got elected as a U.S. senator, and he was in 1972. He was one of the most right-wing creatures that ever walked in that chamber in modern times. Uh, Folks, he was horrible on human rights abuses. What does Jesse Helms have to do with this? Joe Biden palled around with the son of a bitch. He did. That's enough to disqualify him. The man did. If there was a right wing government abroad that smashed the commies, Jesse Helms was for it, and the more dictatorial that the right wing in those other countries were, the more he was having orgasms over it. A case in point, Augusto Pinochet of Chile. Remember him? So yeah, the man was an outright fan of Augusto Pinochet. And then they're going to go and people going to go and shit on Bernie Sanders for saying maybe some mildly kind words about healthcare in Cuba, and that's all he basically said was literacy and healthcare was correct. Everything else is wrong in Cuba, and that is my position too. But Jesse Helms believed in those helicopter rides in Chile. Uh, I'm going on and on and on. In the past, um, Joe Biden favored Social Security and Medicare cuts. Social Security and Medicare cuts when it comes to things like health care or universal basic income or whatever progressive legislation that actually helps working families. It is the usual. Are you going to pay for it? Are you going to pay for it? Are you going to pay for it? But when it comes to bailing out corporations and it comes to fighting wars abroad and invading countries that didn't do anything against us, remember Iraq? Then all of a sudden, the money just sprawl up out of nowhere. You think I'm going to go and vote for Joe Biden, who is a supporter of a right-wing healthcare plan, who's supported every corporately managed trade policy as possible, who hobnob around with segregationists in the early 70s and hobnob around with Jesse Helms, one of the most horrific people in the latter 20th century in American politics, and someone who's fiscally responsible when it comes to balancing budgets and paying off the debts off the backs of working people, but have endless number of funds ready to bail out corporations and to fight foreign wars abroad. Give me a fucking break, folks. Seriously. And I want you to remember, and remember this, I will either vote for Bernie Sanders in November if he's the nominee, or I will vote for the Green Party if they fuck Bernie Sanders over again at the convention. You heard me? I didn't stutter when I said that. Okay, I'm Bernie Bro. Feel free to comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Thanks. Have a great day. And for a nonviolent, peaceful revolution.